Hi, this is Pearl and welcome to my channel. Today I have a Felicity Jane scrapbooking process video for you today. I'm using the Tori kit and I am doing a video or a layout about my kids and their cousins in a bathtub. That is only cute when they're this little. So I just wanted to document that. And so I'm using Felicity Jane 12 by 12 cardstock here, and I'm using my We Are Memory Keepers typewriter typecast. You'll notice that I took the picture and the large alphas that came with this kit to make sure I knew where I was going to do my journaling. And so for the journaling, I wrote, we used to watch the twins for long weekends while Jean traveled to play violin in another state. Thinking back, it was so crazy. We were stuck at home since we didn't have a minivan to take 4 kids anywhere. The twins were so well behaved that it was easy to watch 3 2-year-olds. It was like watching triplets since Christian and the twins were only 3 weeks apart. I'm so glad that the cousins remain close all these years later. Now I'm going to be using an October afternoon decades date roller date stamp to document the date on this layout. So after I finish my typing, I am going to be doing some mixed media on this page as well. And I'm using a Prima stencil, and it's the raindrops stencil, like water drops. And if this stencil is still available, if this stencil is available, I will link it down below. Otherwise, I will link a stencil that's similar to this that you could use on a layout like this. So I'm using texture paste. This is from Ranger, and I'm just doing white on white because I love white on white. So pretty, and it's just so subtle, and yet it's so beautiful at the same time. So I go ahead and do that, and I'm going to put water droplets all over. And after I wash the stencil, because you need to wash that right away or else it'll dry, I decide I'm going to put some branding strips on the bottom. Now I'm using my Kokuyo adhesive to adhere this down, and this is a roller date stamp, a roller adhesive, sorry, excuse me. And then I'm going to put the scallop branding strip on top so that there's 2 strips right there. So you'll see, and I'm going to struggle with putting the scallop right on top. There we go. So after I do that, that takes me a while to work through that all the time, every time. I need to figure out an easier way to do that. I decided I'm going to stamp on this layout. So I'm looking at the stamp set that came with the kit, and I'm using my powder tool, so that takes the static away from the other areas on the cardstock. And I should have done this before I even did the put the branding strips down, but you know, I didn't plan that much ahead. So I'm using the Versa mark which is like a glue adhesive type of a ink pad, and I'm stamping growing up on there, and I'm using Nuvo embossing powder in black, and I'm showing you that there right now. And since I use the powder tool, it'll take all the extra powder that's around the word off, and then I'm just going to use my heat tool to go ahead and heat that up. And I like the way that that just pops up there, and I need to do more of this in my layouts because I do have a lot of embossing powder too. So while the rest of that dries, I'm going to go ahead and start layering my photo, and I do love this stripe when I'm using it again. I used it on my last layout as well, but I love how the colors show on the edges of the photo as a photo mat. I'm using my Caterpillar Pro to cut the edges of this frame. Then I'm going to start layering this as well. I decide I'm going to use the green polka dot as my second layer, but I'm going to cut it short of the picture just so that nothing lines up perfectly. I'm going to use that white piece with the black and white flowers on the bottom right hand portion of the photo. Then I'm going to use the green and mint green striped as my final layer, and I'm going to use that on the right hand side. After that, I'm going to use some foam dimensionals and add some foam dots to the corners of the layout to give it extra dimension. And yes, it does take up more space in my photo album, but I love this. My friends tease me because they say I look at scrapbook pages by Braille because I just like to put my fingers all over the page protectors to see what kind of textures there are on the layout. So I'm checking to see that my mixed media is done, and I'm going to use my Tombow Mono multi-adhesive to adhere the photo to the cardstock. Now I'm using that because I don't know that the ATG gun would hold the picture there long term, so I'm going to use that. So I'm putting that right above my journaling. Now I went through all of the letters that came, the large letters that came with this kit, and I think this is what takes the longest time, is finding all the different letters. Now I'm just making sure that none of the colors are the same next to each other, so that's why I find all the letters that I can, and I just spell out cousins. So I'm going to use my Tombow Mono multi-adhesive to adhere the cousins down because I wanted to adhere to the mixed media as well, and I don't want it to fall out. I'm not worried about getting all the way around the letter because this will be in a page protector, so I'm not worried about it falling apart. And this is a very strong adhesive, so I know that this will stay. So after I put that down, I decide I'm going to use the small alphas that came with the kit, and I'm going to spell out bath time. Now you'll notice that other than the mixed media and the layering and the at the very bottom, I did no other embellishments, and yet it still looks good because the letters are so big that it doesn't really need that much. And this is just a simple page, and I'm done. So I used the VersaFine Morning Mist, which is a great ink pad, to do the date, and I call this layout done. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with a friend who might enjoy these types of process videos, and I'll see you next time.